Get off of your chair, awesome this year, I promise it's here. So watch, rate, comment, and share. And click this up, listen up, I'm telling you all of this because it's just begun. Hit me with some videos from Ziggy Guns.
Yo, Ziggy here. Welcome to week 2 of Stardom Situm Fantasy Series here on my channel. And before I get started, I'd like to say thank you, CP the Monster Gamer. Links to the channel in the description below for the gameplay. I appreciate it. Check him out. Week 1 was an interesting week. I was wrong about 3 players in particular. Tony Romo, who had an awesome game against the Giants. Adrian Peterson and Peyton Manning coming off injuries. Both of them show that they're ready to roll and kicking ass, actually. Start them with confidence now. I'll probably never have them on the Situm list again. So this week, let's go ahead and get started. So there is a game tonight. Green Bay against the Chicago Bears. And you must start, without a doubt, Jay Cutler. Green Bay's defense was horrible last week. It didn't have anything against Alex Smith and the 49ers. Jay Cutler would expose that even more. So start Jay Cutler with confidence. Should be a high-scoring game. Lots of fantasy points to be given out. We'll talk about some of the other plays in a little bit, but for now, start Jay Cutler. I also start Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's playing Cleveland. Now, even though Michael Vick had a pretty bad game, he still threw for 317 yards. I could see that also coming from Andy Dalton. That offense right now is driven around, their playmakers, which is Dalton and AJ Green. So I expect Dalton to have a very big game against Cleveland. Start him with confidence. Also, go ahead and start RG3. I'm pretty sure everybody was shocked about the performance he had. RG3 against St. Louis should be a very good matchup. Matthew Stafford had a big game against him, like 355 yards, I think it was. So I don't expect 355 from RG3, but certainly 300 yards is not without reach, and he should have at least 2 TDs in that game. So on the Situm on the quarterback list, Joe Flacco. Yes, he had a monster game. He has grown a lot, and it's always tough to pick Situms, with some people. However, they're playing Philadelphia, and Philadelphia's defense is really good against the pass. It's not really great against the run more, but their defense is supposed to stop the pass. If you're confident in him, I certainly suggest start him with confidence if you want. I just think that he's not going to have that kind of game against the Eagles defense. Another one on the Situm list is Andrew Luck. Now, he did throw 300 yards. He looked pretty good for rookie quarterback. A lot of people are going to be high on him. Again, though, Minnesota's defense, I'm more worried about their line against their pass, Minnesota's pass rush. So I would think that even though he probably should have some good yardage, he might have some fumbles lost, a few interceptions. That's prone for some rookies, and I think that'll continue in this one. So sit him. Also, Mark Sanchez. I know Peyton Manning did good against that Steelers defense, and Mark Sanchez just lit it up against Buffalo. However, I just think that was an anomaly. I think maybe that was more of a, here, look at us, we'll prove you wrong about our offense, and then Mark Sanchez would come back to normal, which to me, normal is only 175 yards and maybe, TD or 2, and I think that's what I can expect out of him in the Steelers this week. So those are the quarterbacks. On the running backs, start them. CJ Spiller, without a doubt, you got to start CJ Spiller. CJ Spiller, when he took over for Jackson last year, had monster games down the stretch. He is running up against, I believe it's Kansas City, and Kansas City didn't do much to slow down the offense of Atlanta. I think CJ Spiller would be a great running back option. Stevan Ridley for New England. They're playing Arizona, and I just think that Ridley is going to be the guy like Corey Dillon was a few years ago for New England, where he's just going to be rushing and getting a lot of receiving yards in that offense. I expect a Marshall Faulk type of year from him, to be honest. I think he's that poised and ready to do it. So start him with confidence. And again, with the Washington Redskins, another surprise was Alfred Morris. A lot of people didn't even know that he was going to be the starting running back, and sure enough, he tore it up. He's playing St. Louis, and Kevin Smith did good against him. I expect Alfred Morris to do also good against him. On the Situm list for running backs, Cedric Benson. Cedric Benson and Green Bay's offense is pass heavy, and no evidence more than that game that they played last week against the 49ers. Didn't look like he shook off all the rust yet. It's been a while since he played, and it certainly showed against Chicago defense. Another hard defense to go up against a run. I don't expect him to have a good game. Ahmad Bradshaw, huge game against the Cowboys. However, I just think that this game, they're playing against Tampa. Tampa stopped a great rushing team in Carolina to like 10 yards. So obviously Tampa Bay is good against the run. Ahmad Bradshaw is probably not going to get those kind of yards. I mean, if Cam Newton couldn't even get his yardage against that team, I just think Tampa Bay can stop the run, so I project Ahmad Bradshaw will probably have a bad game, so sit him. Kevin Smith, again, huge game against the St. Louis, but like this time they're playing San Francisco. We saw what happened with Benson. I don't think Kevin Smith's going to do much against San Francisco either. He's not a running back that gets a lot of yards, so sit Kevin Smith. All right, on the wide receiver list. Now this is interesting here because I'm going to start with the starter first. Randall Cobb. Now, if for a lot of people in fantasy, you probably know that Greg Jennings got hurt. He's doubtful for tonight. Randall Cobb is going to be the guy. I'm telling you, Jordy Nelson is a pretty good play if you have him also, but Randall Cobb, I expect a huge game from him in the air, in the return game. I expect a big game from Randall Cobb, probably the biggest he's had in his career. Another one that should start, Nate Burleson. Nate Burleson saved the Lions in week 1. I actually think Nate Burleson is a very undervalued receiver. A lot of people have Titus Young up there, even ahead of him on their fantasy rosters. Nate Burleson should have a huge game against San Francisco. Kansas City, Dwayne Bowe. Now, obviously, you saw the Jets just go nuts on Buffalo's defense. I expect Kansas City, even with a not-so-good quarterback in Matt Castle, to do the same to them. So Dwayne Bowe must start. On the sit-em list, I'm going to go ahead and tell you to sit again, even though I was wrong about him last week. Mike Wallace. Now, the Jets obviously have a great defense, but they also have Darrelle Revis. Revis is healthy and practicing again, from that mild concussion. I expect him to shut Wallace down. Greg Jennings is doubtful. I know it's kind of a cop-out to pick him on there, but, he's still listed that he might play. I wouldn't suggest playing Greg Jennings. Bench Jennings. And then Pierre Garcon. I'm going to tell you to sit Garcon. He got hurt. He's on the injury report. I'm not sure if he'll come back from this one that soon. I think it was a foot injury, I believe. So I would suggest benching him. I don't think he's going to have that big of an impact in this game. They're probably going to be taking it easy on him because he is going to be a big piece for them down the road. Now, the tight end list. I had the tight end list correct last week. On the stardom, it's very tough to pick tight ends, because there's not so many of them that you wouldn't want to play anyways. Obviously, your big names you're going to start. But I'm going to go ahead and say start Cook for Tennessee against San Diego. San Diego can't really stop, the tight ends. It's one of the weaknesses in the defense, so I suggest you start him. Finley, again, I'm going to use the fact that Green Bay's, offense is, rolling right now as far as the passing game. So with Greg Jennings gone, I expect Cobb to have a big game. I expect Nelson to have a big game, and I certainly expect Finley to have a big game. And then on Washington, with Pierre Garcon questionable, I think Fred Davis will have a big game. So start Fred Davis with confidence. On the sit-em list, I was right about Witten week 1. I'll probably be right about him in week 2 also. Sit Witten. I just don't think he's ready yet. Now, Peter. Now, he was very good. This is the tight end for the Ravens. I don't think he's going to have that big a game again. Like I said, I think Flacco's going to have a little bit of a struggle this game. Certainly, he could check down to Peter. He's a very good pickup for sure. I just don't think he'll be a great start this week. And against Atlanta, Denver, Tame, I don't even know how to say his name, honestly. For Denver, I have him on the sit list. I think Peyton Manning and Atlanta is going to be exchanging blows. I think the offenses are going to be rolling in this game. But I think Thomas and Decker can get most of the work on this game. So that's my stardom sim this week. Hope you enjoy. Good luck in your fantasy teams. And this is saying peace. I'm out.